Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all amazing. On today's Vintage Rack Odyssey, we are checking out the Roland SDX 330. This is a stereo chorus with true stereo inputs, 16 different algorithms, and some of the features from Roland's 3D or surround sound processing that they had put out a few years prior to this. There was a delay and a reverb in this series. They came out around 1994, so basically at the time when rack units, and in particular stereo chorus, was at its most uncool, but it's a pretty amazing sounding unit. I want to go through some of my favorite presets on here. I'm not going to do a whole lot of tweaking because the presets on this I think sound fantastic out of the box, but I will give you a little look under the hood of how this works. Fairly straightforward layout on here. You've got your input and output levels. On the back, there's an input and output level switch on there. You've got a nice big display over here with some metering, and then your kind of standard program, function, and edit buttons over there. Let's start with the clean sound and program one. 16 presets showcase one of the 16 algorithms in there, and straight out of the box, they are dialed in really sweetly. If you do want to come back through the banks right at the end, you've got multiple different presets based around each style. So there's a bunch of like ambient chorus presets over here, or a bunch of rotary presets to dive into. And I think they make really good starting points. What I want to do though is let's maybe start out on, say, the space chorus, which is based on the Roland dimension effect. So this is Roland's digital recreation of its dimension chorus in here. And I think it sounds really, really good on clean and dirty sounds. If we wanted to go in and edit that, we can hit the edit button over here. Now, we can use the rotary encoder or these buttons. So you see we're on page mode at the moment. So currently the mode is dimension mode number 4. If I hit page, I can now edit that. So I could take that, say, to number 3. I can hit edit again and that will lock it in. And then I can page across through some other parameters. Let's hear mode 3. Mode 3 is my favorite on any dimension emulation. Sounds so good on that dirty tone. You do have a bunch of different EQs that you can throw in here. So there's some low, high, and mid in there. You can set things like the frequency, the amount of each frequency band, and then the Q factor in there. Then you've got a bunch of different mappings in here, like your control pedals that you can plug into it, as well as mapping to each of the different parameters over here. So that's pretty cool. Really, really straightforward on the dimension. I think one of the most unique effects in here, though, is on the 3D chorus. So let's take a look at some of the parameters on here. So I'm going to dial this one in. Let's go back to my clean sound over here. Let's just have a listen to the starting point again. The first row of parameters, I have to hit page. So now I can actually get in here and edit the rate. Let's bring the rate up to good old 0.7, just like the old Yamaha SPX 90 symphonic rate. Hit edit again, and now I can get through, hopefully, to the depth. I'm going to bring the depth down here. Let's just bring that down. Let's try like 50 to get started and have a listen to what I got going on. That is deliciously greasy. I'll hit page again so we can come across over here. Now you can play around with the LFO shape. So it's set to be a triangle at the moment. What do we have? We've got sine or we've got triangle. So 2 choices in there. Let's roll with sine there. I can set the phase, and here come the 3D parameters in here. You've got azimuth and elevation. So you kind of think about like how high it is, and I guess what the angle or something like that is. I don't know, they use some interesting language in the documentation there, but what I'm going to do is tweak the azimuth left just so you can have a listen, hopefully, to what that does to the stereo spread. That's definitely interesting. It's quite subtle. I can hear some kind of subtle psychoacoustic stuff going on my stereo pair of studio monitors here, but it's not totally crazy in there. I think small amounts of the Azimuth and Elevation definitely help in there. I think where they were was totally fine, to be honest. And something like that, I think it's easier just to scroll through presets and go, that's pretty cool. Tweak the depth and the rate, and then you're good. Another interesting algorithm in here is the wave chorus. We'll get to these like 8 and 16 phase chorus over here. So the wave chorus is on the Boss SE70, the little half rack. I've done a demo video with that one. This is interesting because you can kind of blend between different LFOs on here. So we go into the edit menu over here. So you can see you've got LFO, rate, depth, and if I page up, pre-delay, phase, mix. Nothing too crazy, but check this out. If I play around with this first parameter over here, you've got a couple of different core shapes. I'm going to go through each of the shapes so you can hear them. Of course, I have to play this chord. I love the sound of that wave chorus on there. Super unique. You could hear some of those kind of blended modes on there were not very subtle. I think I like the first one in there, or just the straight up triangle wave as well. Super lush. There's this kind of glossy sheen over everything. So you imagine this came out in 1994. That's the opposite of what people want. They want like kind of dirty, warbly, lo-fi style stuff on there. You can cop some of that with the vintage chorus algorithm over there. So there's this kind of CE2 style preset over here. And with the vintage chorus, you can see it's pretty straightforward. It's set up like basically a Boss CE2 or a CE1. So you've got intensity and you've got mode over here. A little bit of EQ in there like all the algorithms, but nothing too special. I'll just bring the intensity up on that one and you get this. So it can definitely do the wobbly old school thing on there. And then you've got crazy things like the Detune Chorus, which we heard in there, and the 8 and 16 phase chorus. Check out the parameters in here. This is pretty interesting. So you've got multiple modes. It's kind of like they took the dimension idea and just went hog wild on it and just added so many more different modes in there. So you've got mode, you've got your LFO shapes, your pre-delays, your effect level, nothing too crazy in there. Let's just hear a couple of different modes to get started. Maybe we'll start off on mode 1 and I'll just cycle through them. Check this out. This is the 16 phase chorus. comes to ultimate grease, though, the Detune Chorus takes the cake over here. Check this out. If you look at the parameters, you've got access to 1, 2, 3 voices on the left side, 3 on the right side. So that's basically 6 detuned voices in there. You got your kind of standard pre-delay and effect level controls in here. Where this factory preset sits, I think, is pretty epic. On a clean sound, it makes it so fat, and on a dirty sound, oh boy. The band choruses and the 8-phase chorus have some really cool sounds as well. But for me, the highlights are the fact that there's a really good dimension. The 3D chorus is pretty unique. The wave chorus is pretty unique. And then you've got that vintage chorus for more of the warbly stuff, and then the detune chorus for just absolute thickness and over-the-top filth. I'm going to pull up stumps there. That's the SDX 330. A big thank you to patron saint of the channel and my friend Brian Hook for getting this unit to me so that I could try it out. This one lived up to the hype for me. There's some amazing sounds in there. It is definitely one of the best digital chorus units that I've ever heard. The only thing that comes to mind that would give this a run for its money, and it's from a similar era, is the Sony DPS M7 that can do some echo effects and a few other things as well, but kind of the way the chorus and detune is set up in that sounds pretty similar to this, in my opinion. This is definitely one of the best Roland modulation effects out there. It's funny when we think of Roland or Boss chorus, it's always CE1, CE2, dimension, and then, oh yeah, there's also some other stuff, but nobody talks about it. People should be talking about this. This is a beautiful sounding unit. It's pretty straightforward to use on here. And, you know, it is from 1994, so the display and the way everything works, it feels like they put a lot more effort into it. It's just a shame that it came out in 1994 when this stuff was in terminal decline. So if you can find one of these, or the reverbs or the delays, they're amazing sounding units. The prices for the SDX 330 now are pretty ridiculous. I don't know if it's really worth paying over for, but if you do see one for cheap, like a lot of this rack stuff, you see it for cheap, you've heard this video and you like the sounds, and it's in good condition, then I'd take a punt on it. If you want a chorus that can do some really unique things, it's awesome. Or if you want a lot of those sounds, check out the Boss SE70. It's a half rack space unit. It's got things like the wave chorus in it if you liked that sound. Again, probably not as powerful as this one, but the fact that it's so small and just kind of cool. I love those Boss micro racks. The whole micro rack series, like the digital delay and the chorus as well, have a few pretty unique features in there. Roland, no chorus. That is the bottom line on here. I really enjoyed this video. I'd love to know your thoughts now in the comments section below. Did you enjoy the chorus tones in this? What's your favorite rack chorus? What else should I check out from Roland and beyond? And the Rack Odyssey, will continue in the future. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, I make music with my band Ragdoll, and you can support me on Patreon. It's all linked in the video description. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.